Proudly presented by AT&T Uverse TV.
The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Ron Washington is looking for someone to step up and provide a big moment for Ranger fans. And Wash normally leans on the veterans. Will Nelson Cruz be the man? Could it be Ian Kinsler? Will Adrian Beltre lead the way? Or could that big hit come from a surprise source? The always confident skipper expects that it will happen tonight as the Rangers and Orioles wrap up the series on Fox Sports Southwest. It is a warm, windy, and cloudy evening here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Young and old alike gearing up for the Rangers trying to salvage the finale of this three-game set as they take on the Baltimore Orioles. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Green, Steve Busby. Glad to have you along. And first of all, let me say, Tom and Mark McLemore, thanks for sitting in. Really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you out there for passing along so many great wishes to me. I really appreciate that. Down to Ranger baseball. Adrian Beltre, the key to the Ranger consistency over the year. They need him right now.
Well, they need Adrian, Buzz, and I think maybe even more than that, they need other guys to join the hit parade. You know Adrian is going to be there. He's at least knocking on the door for offensive categories in the top 10 all the way around. Month of July has been hot for him. A lot of it has happened against the Orioles. He's hit over 400 against the Orioles. He'll handle that fourth spot. What he needs is a few more base runners ahead of him to get on base and some guys behind him to join in driving in some runs. That's what the Rangers need, a team effort to get some runs on the board.
There you go, and hopefully that'll happen here tonight as the Rangers, as I said, try to salvage this final game of the three-game set. The Rangers have had a little bit of an attitude adjustment. You see not too much going wrong down there on the bench right now. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch, Rangers and Orioles, right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Don't miss the Ford Summer Spectacular featuring blockbuster deals. Now playing at your best in Texas Ford dealer. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. By Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. And by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Designate a driver. A few high clouds overhead. Puffy white clouds off in the distance. And kids getting the autographs from the Ranger players in each position before we get underway. Let's head over and say hello to Jim Knox. Jim?
Hi, Buzz. Appreciate it, and welcome back. You know, Martin Perez takes the mound for the Rangers tonight, and he will have his work cut out for him going against one of the top hitting teams in the American League. So, Martin, how do you face the Orioles? What will it take to slow this team down?
I don't care about lineup. I trust what I have, and then I trust my staff, and like I say, I just need to throw down because they swing everything, and then I just need to make the pitch.
Martin Perez with the Geico quote of the day, so keep the ball down low. We'll see what happens as Martin tries to get the Rangers back on track starting here in the second half of the season. Buzz?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Yeah, Martin Perez will face a Baltimore lineup tonight that looks like this. Buck Showalter throwing out Nate McLeod, the left fielder. Manny Machado bats second. He plays third. Nick Markakis is in right. Adam Jones, the center fielder, bats cleanup. Chris Davis is at first. Matt Wieters is a catcher. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, bats seventh. The DH is Danny Valencia. And Brian Roberts, the second baseman, hits ninth.
And on the mound is Martin Perez. He's had 6 starts for the Rangers. They've gone well, 3-2, a 3 ERA. He did have a start against the Orioles in Baltimore. He won that start, gave up a couple of earned runs in 6 innings. Hasn't given up an earned run in 12 innings pitched at home this season. So he's facing an Oriole lineup that's hot. 1 through 9 they can hit. Tough lineup to face. And as we mentioned in the pregame show, Buzz, one of the keys is to keep McLeod and Machado off base. McLeod has started the first 2 games of this series off with base hits to center field to lead off the game.
And Machado following him in the order. And maybe that's a good sign. Martin Perez able to bust the bat of Nate McLeod on the foul ball. Break up his rhythm a little bit. 1 ball and 1 strike, and Martin back to the plate. 2-1 now. McLeod, the .280 hitter. 6 home runs, 17 driven in. As Tom told you earlier in the year, you saw McLeod batting down further in the order. The line drive is going to settle into left field in front of David Murphy. So lead off single. McLeod has done that all 3 games now.
When we played the Orioles for the first time in Baltimore, McLeod, I think, was hitting about .230 against left-handed pitching. There was a pretty good differential. But in the 7 games that we've played, it doesn't look like there's much difference when he faces a lefty or a righty. He's hitting line drives against everybody.
Well, McLeod the board. This is for a Baltimore team that had 17 hits last night against 5 different Ranger pitchers, and they start off today swinging the bat well. They, as a team, are 4th in the American League with a .267 team average. Manny Machado, one of the bright young stars of all of baseball, the third baseman for the Orioles. Another toss to first. McLeod is back. Machado at .310 for the season with 7 home runs, and he has driven in 46. But this is a guy that every time you see him, you have to continue to be impressed with his development. First ball swing has popped up. That is in play on the right side. Ian Kinsler calling off Mitch Moreland. Out number 1, and that'll bring up Nick Markakis. Let's take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense. Murphy, Gentry, and Martin left, center, and right. Moreland at first. You saw Kinsler at second. He's joined by Elvis up the middle. Adrian Beltre at third. A.J. Brzezinski is catching Martin Perez. On the hill, the umpiring crew this afternoon. The veteran Joe West behind the plate. Adam Hamari is at first. Andy Fletcher is at second. And Rob Drake over at third.
Well, the Orioles, Buzz, they did have 17 hits last night. There were at least 3 or 4 hits that on a good defensive night could have been turned into outs. I didn't think the Rangers had a particularly good defensive game last night. Doesn't always show up in the box score as an error, but there were a number of plays that I think the Rangers generally make, and Walsh alluded to that after the game, saying we just have to play better defense than that, the kind of defense we're capable of playing. And Didn't see that in last night's game. That was a disappointment last night.
Yeah, and you know, some fans are probably saying, well, why doesn't Ron Washington talk about that publicly? Well, that's not his style. He doesn't believe in calling out players publicly. Now, that doesn't mean the players don't know that his displeasure is there.
Right.
They're very well aware of it. But Ron certainly does not believe calling a player out in the press or any kind of media for that matter.
No, and very, very frequently you have to think that he might have that conversation in the clubhouse, in his office, between him and the player.
Yep.
And that's the way it should be.
1-1 the count to Markakis. Got him on the fist. To second for one. The return to Martin Perez, covering not in time. He's pulled off the bag. The throw got there in time from Elvis, and Perez trying to catch the ball and then locate the bag, just couldn't quite do it.
Well, that's a difficult double play, the 3-6-1 double play. It's easier with a left-handed thrower, but it's difficult for the pitcher to sprint toward, you can pretty much speak to this, Buzz, to sprint toward first base, locate the bag and the ball. That's trying to look in two different directions.
Well, and Martin did a good job, I thought, that time, Tom. He stopped at the right place. He caught the ball and then looked for the bag. He didn't try to do two things at once. He was stopped just a little bit too far from the bag, from what he was anticipating. And that's not really a mistake. It's just one of those things. Toughest play in all of toughest double play to turn, I think, in all of baseball is that one, with the pitcher getting over there to cover.
All he needed was about 6 more inches. He was right next to the bag. He just stabbed at the bag and came up a little short.
Now Adam Jones, the center fielder, and he takes a breaking ball for strike one. Yeah, it was close. Hard to tell if his foot, as it was sliding back, ever contacted the bag before Markakis got there.
If it did, it would have been difficult for the first base umpire to see it.
In the air, right center field, or left center field, I should say. Gentry back with room on the track by a step. And a 10-pitch first inning sends the Orioles down. No runs a hit and a man left. A half an inning in the book. Orioles nothing. Rangers coming up. Fox Sports Southwest. The Rangers coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Rangers starting lineup delivered by DeMontron RV. Kinsler will lead off. He's playing second base. Craig Gentry, the center fielder, is next. The DH tonight is Nelson Cruz. Adrian Beltre bats cleanup. A.J. Brzezinski is catching. Mitch Moreland hits sixth and plays first base. Elvis Andrews, the shortstop. The left fielders David Murphy. Leonis Martin is in right and batting ninth.
And we'll look at the scouting report for Chris Tillman. Chris Tillman, excellent first half. He was 11-3. ERA is a little higher than you would expect for someone with an 11-3 record. The Orioles have scored a lot of runs for him. 8 starts on the road. He's pitched better on the road at 3.40 ERA. He's had 2 career starts in this ballpark, and he's done well. He's won both of them. In those 2 games, his ERA is under 2. Tillman was an all-star this year, added to the team by Jim Leyland after an injury to the starting staff. And one of the big reasons the Orioles are a contender at 11-3.
Next pitch to Kinsler, that big overhand curveball, and it settles in. It is 0-2. Ian, as you saw, a .281 hitter, 9 home runs, 37 RBI.
Seems like every game we played the Orioles this year, we talked about the trade that the Orioles made to acquire Adam Jones, because we've seen Adam Jones every game. You need to remember that Chris Tillman was the other player in that trade that sent Eric Bedard to Seattle. So you've got an all-star starting pitcher and an all-star starting center fielder for a guy that didn't fit into your plans anymore.
Kinsler pops it up behind home plate. Leaders off with the mask coming back, but the wind will push that back about 8 rows.
It's kind of the Orioles version of the Mark Teixeira trade with Atlanta that brought the 4 players to the Rangers and kind of set the young part of their rebuilding process, and they were able to acquire all-star players, and a big reason why they've been to the playoffs 3 straight years.
Yeah, the Rangers certainly have seen Adam Jones a lot, way too much. Ian reaching for it, grounds to Ryan Roberts, the second baseman. That is out number 1. So Kinsler out. Now Craig Gentry coming up. Take a look at the Oriole defense tonight. Same one they've employed in the first 3 games, or all 3 games of this series. McLeod, Jones, and Markakis left, center, and right. Davis at first. Roberts and Hardy up the middle. Machado at third. Matt Wieters behind the plate. Chris Tillman, the 25-year-old Southern Californian, is on the hill. Craig Gentry to start tonight in center, batting in the number 2 slot. Ron Washington really has not been able to settle on a number 2 hitter, with Elvis still having some problems, and Elvis has been relegated to the lower part of the batting order. Craig Gentry, the latest to sneak up there in the number 2 slot. Lines this one down the right field side, but it was a little bit mishit, so it's sliced out of play. And the count moves to 1-1.
Craig had a nice game the other day. He's the one that hit that double into the right center field gap. Looked like it might roll to the warning track or the wall and score Jeff Baker from first. Instead, Jeff was held at third and couldn't get back to third, was thrown out in a key part of the game. It was a low-scoring game.
2 balls and 1 strike. Now the count to Gentry. Now the Rangers, in the first 2 games of this series, Tom, and you can sure speak to this, they have not played exactly fundamentally sound baseball.
No. They've left some runs out there that they should have had, and they've given up some that they shouldn't have given up. And it's not a surprise, based on the way they played these 2 games, that they didn't win either one of those games. And the good thing is they're a lot better than that. They just have to go out and play better than that.
And they're playing against a team, let's face it, that just does not make a lot of mistakes to beat themselves. Skied to shallow right field. On comes Markakis. Has plenty of time to settle underneath it. Gentry is out. 2 away. Nelson Cruz coming up.
Yeah, the Orioles lead the league in fielding percentage. So you're right, Buzz. They don't make a lot of mistakes defensively. They got a Gold Glove shortstop. Probably future Gold Glove third baseman. The left side of their infield is terrific. Brian Roberts is a veteran second baseman. We've seen Chris Davis with the Rangers play a solid first base. Adam Jones is an all-star center fielder. Markakis is solid in right. And McLeod has played some center field in his past too. So Wieters is an all-star catcher. Yep. So they've got a good team, boy. They've been bad for a long time, but it's not a fluke that they're good now.
Cruz fouls it off to the right, and the count evens at 1-1. Nelly getting a semi-off night. Ron Washington had him in the lineup last night in right field, but not fully convinced that Cruz was over the effects of that migraine headache that kept him out of Friday night's game. Well, Ron said, well, another day at DH won't hurt him at all, and certainly won't hurt the ball club. 1-2 the count now. Tillman back to it. Got him swinging. Boy, good cut fastball from the right-hander. 3 up, 3 down go the Rangers. We played 1 in Arlington. Rangers nothing, Orioles nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Introduce Chris Davis as the first hitter. Let's go say hello to Jim Knox again, Jim.
All right, thanks, Buzz. Ranger fans painted up. They're ready to go. You bet. Looking good today, little guy. Community Corner this evening. Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation before the game, along with former Arlington Mayor Richard Green and his wife Sylvia, awarded this year's Richard Green Scholars. That's right, they work a tough internship, the Arlington Senior High School schoolers. Then they collect a $10,000 scholarship. The Richard Green Scholars honored before the game. To find out more, log on to TexasRangers.com/foundation. Buzz?
All right, Jim, thank you. Chris Davis starting things off for the Orioles. 1 ball and 1 strike. And from Longview, Texas up there, pitch tied him up. Inside fastball from Martin Perez, and it's 1-2, and that's exactly the sequence of pitches that Derek Holland had success with Davis here on Friday night.
But Davis going into last night's game was 1 for 17 against the Rangers. He had a couple of hits last night. Somehow he hit a ball about 6 inches off the ground, 400 feet to center field.
Yeah.
It looked like a catchable ball for Leonis Martin. He didn't catch it. It went for a double. Man, he gave a 400-foot ride to a pitch that didn't look like he'd hit it much farther than out of the infield.
Lays off that outside fastball, and the count is even now at 2-2. Now, you won't find many guys stronger than Chris Davis in baseball.
No.
You got tremendously strong hands and forearms, and that goes a long way into making that ball travel to left field. And David Murphy has to get in the sun, and he loses it beyond him to the wall. Into second base with a leadoff 2-bagger is Chris Davis.
Well, that's the exact ball that you dread as a left fielder. When the game starts at 7 o'clock, by now that sun wouldn't be a factor. When the game starts at 6 o'clock, that sun's a factor for the first 3 innings of the ball game. A high fly is not a problem because the sun is low, but a line drive is a nightmare. And David right now has no idea where that ball is. He saw it come off the bat, so he's got a general idea. But as you look for the ball, you look directly into the sun, and the ball just blends in with the sun. And that's the result. You just hope that if there's a ball hit like that, the Rangers are the team that hits it, not the other team, because there's really nothing you can do about it.
Well, leadoff double, and Matt Waiters, the catcher. Switch hitter up there from the right side, takes ball 1 inside. Well, that maybe typifies the series so far. First 2 games plus the first inning plus here tonight. Orioles have, there's a shot up the middle in center field. Davis being waved around third. Gentry with a throw to the plate is cut off. And the Orioles on a gift double and a base hit to center, take a 1-0 lead. Now the double that could have been anything but, and then the base hit following it up, and that's what the Orioles have done.
Well, Wieters has hit a couple of home runs against the Rangers this year. That time it's a base hit to drive in a run. The Orioles have gotten hits when they've needed them. They've capitalized on opportunities, and another example of it right there. Line drive that without the sun would have been an easy out for David. Turns into a run. And even that ball was down and away from Chris Davis. He hit it one-handed, really. And it was a solidly hit line drive.
J.J. Hardy, the shortstop up there. Ball gets away from Brzezinski, go down to second. Goes Matt Wieters, and again, the Rangers a little bit sloppy. In crucial times, that ball looked like it just glanced off Brzezinski's glove, and he never got it into the pocket. No, it was in the dirt. My bad. I didn't see it hit the dirt.
Yeah, it was in the dirt. It does go as a wild pitch, but I think AJ, after watching that, would say he probably could have blocked it. Should have blocked it. Tried to pick it with his glove and wasn't able to do it.
2-0 pitch. It's the inside corner, and it's 2-1. Hardy, again, outstanding numbers power department wise for a shortstop. 16 home runs, 52 RBI.
He's the only major league shortstop with 20 home runs the last 2 years.
By the dive of Beltre, there will be no play as Elvis gets to the ball, but an infield single for J.J. Hardy. Runners at first and second with nobody out for Danny Valencia.
Hardy well on his way to 20 more home runs this year, make it 3 straight years with 20 home runs. Well, Perez has given up a double and 2 singles. The double without the sun would have been an easy play, and the other 2 were harmless ground balls that found a hole. So if you look at the way he's throwing the ball, it really doesn't have a problem other than the results.
Yep.
Not much you can do on that ball.
It's perfectly placed between Beltre and Andrus. The first and second, nobody out. Rangers have set up the defensive alignment should Danny Valencia be asked to bunt. Got Moreland at first, playing in front of the cut of the grass, and Adrian Beltre will play kind of side saddle down there at third. Valencia handling the DH chores, 215 the average. No bunt here, and the first pitch, the fastball down and away for ball 1. Prior to that first pitch, you saw Elvis Andrus go in and say something to Martin Perez, and part of the deal was they don't want Martin to start feeling the way he did in Detroit, where he has to nibble at the corners when things start turning bad. And he gets the double play ball here. If Elvis can do something with it, and he can't. He boots it, everybody's safe, and the bases are full with nobody out.
Well, it's a tough inning for Martin Perez. He could easily have 4 or 5 outs in this inning. Ground balls have not been hit hard. 2 found holes. That looked like a simple double play. Instead, it turns into an error, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Just the woes for the Rangers continue today. It's been that way the last couple of games. They're not getting the key hits. They're not making plays.
So 3 hits and an error. Yeah, another look at that hop from behind, and that just ate up Elvis. Came up and got him on just above the wrist. The base is full, nobody out. Brian Roberts, the second baseman, takes high for ball 1. Roberts, 242 the average, 2 home runs and 10 driven in. As you can see, the veteran has been around long enough to have 5 career grand slams. You know what I was saying, though, about what Elvis had talked to Martin Perez about was making sure he still wants to make his aggressive pitches in the strike zone. Don't start trying to pitch away from contact, if you will. Ground ball, base hit to right field. 1 run is home. The stop sign is put up at third as Hardy checks in at third. Scoring on the play is Matt Wieters, and the Orioles take a 2-0 lead.
Another softly hit ground ball that found a hole. Just if it's not one thing, it's another right now. You see Mitch playing way off the line towards second base, and the ball still was to his right and found a hole. You couldn't have placed that ground ball any better than that.
And even if Kinsler had come up with the ball, there was nobody at first base because Martin Perez had turned into a spectator. Instead of going over to cover the bag like the pitcher's supposed to, he's standing there watching.
Would have had the same result anyway.
Yep. Well, Mike Maddox out to try and slow things down a little bit if he possibly can. 2-0 Baltimore, bases full, still nobody out. Top of the order now has to be dealt with by Martin Perez. Nate McLeod, a single to left, his first time to the plate. Perez still working from the stretch. 1 ball, no strikes. McLeod, as you can see now, the average of 282.
He's raised his average against left-handed pitching by about 20 points against the Rangers, it feels like.
1-1. Well, Perez in damage control mode right here. Team really in a tough bind. He needs to make some good pitches and have good things happen once he does. That's chopped foul, and he's gotten ahead of the count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And McLeod kind of typifies the way his season started out. Just did get a piece of it. He's staying alive now. McLeod has a count of 1-2.
Good sinking action on that pitch. McLeod just able to hit the top of the ball to foul it off. Good pitch by Martin.
Popped up, headed toward the seats over the Oriole dugout. That's back 7 rows.
Good velocity tonight for Martin. That last pitch buzzed 96 miles an hour.
Yeah. Bad part is he's up to 21 pitches this inning.
Yep.
And still doesn't have an out.
He should have been out of the inning at number 1.
Yeah.
Definitely could have had a double play on that ground ball. And David lost the ball in the sun. That's a tough situation to be in.
Pulled down the right field line. That's hooking. And going back into the seats after it bangs off the railing.
McLeod is a tough out. 7 games against the Rangers. He's making things happen, fouling off tough pitches. Been on base all day long, it feels like.
Well, McLeod back in there. Waiting for the 7th pitch of this at bat alone. Perez to him. Low and inside, and the count is even at 2-2.
You know, usually you'd be in this position and a play is not made behind you, and you'd be 22, 23 pitches into it and say, all right, if I can get this guy, I'm out of the inning. But now he looks up and there's still nobody out.
Right. Got him swinging. First out of the inning. Boy, Martin had to work hard to get that.
He made some good pitches. Looks like a changeup here that McLeod swings over. Good movement on that pitch. Swings right over it.
So a very big first out. Now a tough guy to deal with in Manny Machado. Machado popped out to second. His first time up there. Went after the first pitch that he saw, which is his custom. Perez misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Got the bases full of Orioles. And Hardy at third, Valencia at second. Ryan Roberts over at first. Couple of runs across 4 hits and an error this inning. Brzezinski flashing the signs out. Martin Perez ready. Good off-speed pitch. 1-1.
We've seen that more and more from Martin. First couple of times up, I don't think he was able to throw that pitch because he just didn't have command of his overall variety of pitches. But now that changeup has become a really good pitch for him. There it is again.
Back it up, throw another one. That's Perez, and that's been his MO in the minor leagues. Folks evaluating him said he has one of those changeups that he can throw 2 and 3 and 4 times in a row, and guys can't do anything with it. Well, it's translated to the big league level too. A ball and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Got him swinging. Well, back-to-back strikeouts. McLeod, now Machado. And there are 2 outs with Nick Markakis coming out.
It's like Martin said to himself, I'm going to take this into my own hands. And there's what you're talking about, Buzz. That's 3 straight changeups, and he gets the strikeout. A couple of plays not made behind him, couple of runs in, bases loaded, 2 strikeouts against 2 guys that have really been hitting the ball well.
Well, that'll bring up Markakis, who reached on a fielder's choice ground out. Back in the first. Got him on the fist. 3-hopper and a roller out to Ian Kinsler. And that'll do it. For all in all, that is one whale of a job for Martin Perez. 2 runs on 4 hits and an error, but the bases are left full. We're going to the bottom of the second. Baltimore 2, Texas nothing. Fox Sports Southwest. To partner with Stop Out Bullying, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the U.S. Stop Out Bullying focuses on preventing bullying of all forms of digital abuse. It educates them against racism and hatred, deters violence in schools and online, and helps at-risk students. To learn how you can help, please visit stopoutbullying.org. Well, the Rangers down by a couple as Adrian Beltre starts off the bottom of the second inning. Beltre, Pierzynski, and Moreland. Adrian, as you can see, a .313 hitter. Takes outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Beltre, 21 home runs, 55 RBI. Goes down to 1 knee and tries to get that slow hook. Couldn't do it. 1-2.
big, slow-breaking curveball.
Tom, does Tillman remind you of a guy to our left over here a little bit, Jim Palmer? Down the right field line, Markakis toward the line, crossing into foul territory, puts it away for out number 1.
You know, he's tall. If you look at him the way right now with his back to us, tall, slim, the way his actions are, I would say definitely.
Yeah.
Palmer had a huge leg kick.
Right.
You know, the similarities might end when they let go of the ball.
Yeah, certainly not velocity-wise. Jim was good throwing seat in the arm. That big, slow curveball.
Palmer had a big overhand, slow curveball.
Palmer's fastball looked like it tended to cut a little bit. The four-seam fastball that he threw. And Tillman has that ability to do that. Kind of an over-the-top motion. Not as exaggerated as Palmer's, but...
Yeah, Palmer... I'm trying to think how to say this. He kind of, as he brought his arm back, reached back farther. Right. More of an arc, I guess, to his throwing motion. Tillman's a little more of a short arm kind of action.
A.J. Pierzynski hitting with the bases empty and 1 out in the Rangers' second. Ground ball out to Ryan Roberts, who handles it easily. And that's out number 2.
Palmer was one of those guys, when you watched him from the side throw his fastball, it didn't look like he was throwing that hard until you got up to the plate and tried to hit it. Couldn't pick it up.
We'll take a look at our AT&T Twitter poll for this evening. We're asking you who will win the AL East. And we gave you the obvious 5 choices, since that's all the number of teams there are in the American League East. Orioles, Red Sox, Rays, Yankees, and Blue Jays. Hashtag FS and your pick. Go on and go to Twitter and give us your answer. We'll tabulate the results. Get back to you later on in the ball game. Off-speed pitch to Mitch Moreland. Settles just out of the strike zone. It was 1 ball and no strikes.
And there's no doubt who the hottest team in the East is. They're the hottest team in baseball, and that's Tampa Bay. Once they called up Will Myers, young phenom that they traded to get from Kansas City. He's batting in the middle of their lineup now. Their offense has clicked. They've got excellent starting pitching. David Price is back in their rotation. They've won 9 out of 10. Over about a 40 or 50 game stretch. They're 20 games over 500. So right now it looks like they're as hot as anybody.
Are you trying to encourage the fans to vote for?
I'm just saying they're hot right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're going to stay hot or not.
I thought maybe you were getting a little bit kicked back under the table.
No. I just like the way they're playing right now. But I will say this, even at the beginning of the year when they were struggling, the one thing that everybody said about Tampa Bay, it's been the thing that's happened the last few years. At the end of the year, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
They've got good defense. They run well. Great starting pitching. I think with Myers in their lineup, one more strong hitter, it's really giving them the lineup they want right now.
Mitch Moreland gone on strike. So are the Rangers. 3 up, 3 down. 6 straight sent down by Chris Tillman. We're going to the 3rd inning. 2-0 Baltimore. source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Rangers baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and a whole lot more. Just text At Bat to 31826 or visit TexasRangers.com for details. Martin Perez back to the hill. He will face Adam Jones to start things off here in the third. Jones' first ball swinging. Pops one down the right field line. That will twist back into the crowd. And out of play for strike one.
Another changeup. Martin has really used that effectively. Did a great job of working out of that bases loaded no out jam. He gave up a couple of runs, but with the support he got behind him, that's a pretty miraculous job to only give up 2 runs in that inning. And his changeup was the main pitch to get him out of that jam. There's another one.
This one's hit on one sharp hop to Adrian Beltre. One gone. Now, before Chris Davis steps in, let's head over to Dana Larson for a Mazda game break. Dana. All right, Dana, thank you. And the Bartolo Colon.
The amazing thing is, I don't think he's ever been better than he is right now. You would think a guy that big that's gotten this old after this many years and had a couple of years where he was hurt, ineffective, or suspended couldn't be this good right now. Just shows you the kind of arm that he has and the way he knows how to pitch.
2-0 pitch to Davis, chop foul. Obviously his stuff was better when he first came up, or the first 5, 6, 7 years of his career. Just as far as pure stuff goes.
Yeah, probably threw a little harder.
But there's no way he was pitching any better than any time than he is now.
No way.
To left field, David Murphy again battling the sun, reaches up and hauls this one in. That was what he needed the first time. A ball hit over his head that he could go back for and get it out of the sun.
Yeah, it had a little bit different angle to look at that ball, and it probably helped him. I think if that ball was hit right at him like the other one, he would have been in the same boat that he was the first time.
Yeah.
He's using his hand. Now you can see he's kind of looking sideways right now to see that ball. He had to catch it the way the ball was. Instead of looking right straight back toward us into the sun, he was able to locate the ball.
I thought he was putting his hand out to tell the ball to stay right there. I can see you right there. Don't move.
Keep it from hitting him in the head.
Now 2 gone very quickly here in the third, and Matt Wieters, who had an RBI single to center last inning, takes low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Wieters now 46 RBI. Batting average of .241 for the switch hitting catcher. Breaking ball hangs outside. It's 2-1. Wieters, the last 3 games, a .417 average. Now 3-1 the count. Now if Wieters is able to extend the inning here in the third, J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, will follow. Orioles leading 2-0. They about hit the Rangers 5-0 here in the first 2 innings plus. Fastball, strike, and the count is full to Wieters. Wieters settles back in, and Martin Perez to the wind, the payoff pitch. On the ground behind third, it's a fair ball. It hops over Adrian Beltre's glove and down the line. Wieters cruising into second base. As that ball just took a kangaroo hop at the last second over Adrian Beltre's outstretched glove. That'll be a double, the second hit of the night for Matt Wieters.
There's the last hop that it takes. That ball bounced back towards center field.
I thought it went over his glove. Looking at that to see what happened, it kind of had reverse spin on it.
Yeah, it did. put his glove where it looked like that ball was going to bounce, and it bounced the other way.
So the 6th hit of the night, and the Orioles continue to find odd ways to make things happen against the Rangers in this series. J.J. Hardy had an infield single, his first time to the plate. To right center field, Greg Gentry on his horse, back in the gap. He can't get it. One hopping off the wall. Wieters will score. Into second, J.J. Hardy with the RBI double. It is 3-0, Baltimore.
That ball took off. Shows the power that J.J. Hardy has. Mentioned earlier that he's the only shortstop in baseball that hit 20 home runs the last 2 years. He's going to do it again. And he just drove that ball off the bat. It looked like a play that Gentry might just run over and make the catch on. And as it turns out, that ball just shot over Craig's head. Didn't have a chance to catch it.
Well, the Orioles putting up 3 here in the first 2 2/3. Now Danny Valencia, who hit what could have been or should have been the double play ground ball last inning that was booted by Elvis. He takes a strike. It is 0-1. One and 1 the count. Valencia, of course, a long-time Minnesota Twins property. Up and down, had a couple of good years with Minnesota, and fell on pretty tough times offensively and health-wise. Orioles kind of picked him up and gave him another opportunity, a change of scenery. Trying to reestablish himself at the big league level. Perez okays the sign. The left-hander's ready. And ball 3 is low. And this is where Martin Perez, the kind of situation that Martin ran into against Detroit in that outing, where he started nibbling and falling behind, and then really got out of control with it. Ball started flying off the bats. Out of play down the right side. The count has gone full. And it's real easy, I think, for us to sit up here and say, well, he's got great stuff. You know, why does he fall behind? Well, it's a little bit different looking at it from here down to the mound, or looking at it from the seats out to the mound, than it is when you're standing on the mound and you're possessing that stuff. It doesn't quite translate the same way. We've said a lot of times the hardest thing to do is, when you get to the big leagues, really believe in your heart that you belong there, that you're going to be successful there. It's the last phase of the transition that young players have to make, getting at the big league level and staying there. Perez sets at the belt. Payoff pitch. Got him swinging. Well, Valencia gone on strikes, but the Orioles strike for another run on back-to-back 2-out doubles. They strand a runner. 2.5 have gone by. The Orioles 3-0 over the Rangers. Ford dealers. Don't miss the Ford Summer Spectacular featuring blockbuster deals. Now playing at your best in Texas Ford dealers. And by Jack in the Box. Now's your chance to go big with Jack's Big Stack Burger. The storm cloud's not too far off. It's been a storm here in this three-game series so far for the Rangers. They trailed today 3-0, having lost the first two games of this series, 3-1 and 7-4. The Rangers in comeback mode now, trying to at least salvage the final game against the Orioles. And Elvis Andrus starting things off in the Ranger third, takes ball one.
Well, with all the frustration that the Rangers have had offensively in this series, just have the feeling that sooner or later they're going to have a 6-run inning. Just everything's going to fall in place. Balls are going to find holes. They're going to drive one in the gap, get some hits with men in scoring position, and everything will be all right. But so far it's 6 up, 6 down, and Chris Tillman's been in complete command. Only thrown 28 pitches.
Good slow breaking ball, and that dives just a little bit low. It's 2 balls and a strike to Elvis. Andrus at 244. No home runs, 31 driven in. He's been kind of spinning his wheels in the low 240s for the last few weeks. Takes outside, that cut fastball darting off the plate. And it's 3-1. So Elvis trying to start things off by getting aboard to start the third. David Murphy to follow. Tillman to the plate. That'll run the count full. Elvis taking that pitch.
Had a hard time getting base runners, 3-1 leading off an inning. That's a good pitch to take. You're going to get a fastball again. And this one's outside.
Well, there's the first base runner of the afternoon for the Rangers. One on for David Murphy. Now we'll take a look at the Ford leaderboard this evening. The leaders would be highest career batting average against Orioles for active players. A lot of Rangers on that. Miguel Cabrera, no surprise there, leading the way at 390. But then David Murphy at 359 and Nelly Cruz at 353 handle the third and fourth spots in that top 5. So here's Murph. Pulled on the ground to second. Roberts to second. They get one. The return in a hurry. Not in time.
Nice play by Chris Davis. That was a tough hop. He just backhanded it. Didn't matter one way or the other. David was going to be safe, but it was a nice scoop.
Murph shooting for that hole and didn't quite get it over there.
Watched the throw back to first, and Chris stretched and still made that play.
Well, Murphy now at first base with one away, and Leonis Martin will step in. Leonis 277 with the average, and Murph driven back by a pretty quick throw from Chris Tillman. Five home runs, 16 driven in for the young Ranger outfielder. And a strike at the knees makes it 0-1. Leonis, go back over his last 8 ball games, hit just 143. But you go back further than that, and he's been a .313 hitter over the last 28 games that he has seen action in. A rip and a miss. I know, Tom, you and Mac were talking about Leonis Martin last night, about being in one of those spots where he's just not quite as quick with the bat as we've seen him in the previous 2 or 3 months.
No, when he was in a good streak, Buzz, he was hitting that fastball. In the last couple of games, last 3 games really, he's had some fastballs to hit that he swung and missed at. They've been throwing the fastball by him, and it does look like his timing is a little bit off. He was right on it for about 125 at bats.
You have spots during the season where, as a hitter, you go through streaks like that,
definitely.
where your bat slows down or speeds up.
You've got streaks where the bat feels like it weighs 20 ounces and streaks where it feels like it weighs 40 ounces. Just have to battle through it.
1-2 pitch coming. Off the fist to third. Machado. Roberts back to Davis. Not in time as Leonard Martin able to leg out the return throw from second base.
You know, a guy like Martin, when he's struggling, he's a good bunter and he's very fast. He can utilize the bunt to get on base, but against the Orioles, when it's less than 2 strikes, Machado is playing way in at third base to take the bunt away from him. And so there's really not an opportunity to get the bunt down when you're struggling to swing the bat, because they've taken that away from him in this series.
Well, it's now Martin at first base. Ian Kinsler rounded out to second to begin things tonight. 0 for 1 this evening and takes on the outside corner for strike 1. Ian hitting in an even 280. Kinsler, another one of the Rangers that's been extremely good against the Orioles. Hit safely in 23 of the last 26 games. There's a snap throw to first and Martin back. Probably a spot where he, since it's only the 3rd inning, encourage Leonard Martin, if he gets a jump, go ahead and try to swipe second. With 2 outs, if he gets caught, you've still got Ian leading off in it, but you need to generate something on a positive note offensively. It's out of play. Oh, 0-2, the count to Kinsler. There's Martin having a very good year with the steals. Tillman goes to first base side and back with the dive, Leonard Martin. Martin tied for 8th in the American League with his 19 stolen bases. Been caught 4 times so far. Tillman again ready. And again goes to first base. %, figure we were just talking about for Leonard Martin and his success rate. Now Tillman sets just above belt high. Kinsler a drive to right. That's a base hit, and it's headed toward the corner. Over to cut it off, Markakis. He does, and being stopped at third base now as Gary Pettis threw up the stop sign, and a good call by Pettis. He holds Martin at third, into second with a double. Is Ian Kinsler.
That's a nice play by Markakis. That saved the run. If Markakis is unable to cut that ball off, it goes to the wall. Martin scores easily with his speed. But Markakis is a solid right fielder. He does everything solidly. Not a burner out there. Doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but he's got a strong, accurate arm. He runs solidly, and he knows how to play right field. You see him catch that ball, and that saves a run. Wasn't able to get much on the throw, but it was an accurate throw to the cutoff man.
So second and third now with 2 outs. Craig Gentry, the number 2 man in the order, will step in. Ian Kinsler at second with the first Ranger hit of the night.
Second ball, he's hit down the right field line. The other night, he hit a ground ball right inside the bag down the right field line. Off the bat, if that was hit hard enough to get past Markakis, in which case it would have been a run.
Yeah. A run and quite possibly a triple, too, for Kinsler.
Yeah.
0-1 to count to Gentry.
If he didn't cut it off, he'd have kept going toward the wall and probably couldn't have gotten back to the ball before he did get to third.
1-1 now. Greg, fly ball to right, his first time to the plate.
It's been all Baltimore so far, but it's only 3-0. And here's a spot where with one hit, you turn it into a 3-2 game. The whole momentum of the game changes. But you have to get that one hit. That's one thing the Rangers haven't been able to do recently, is get the hit right here to help turn the game around in your favor.
Good rip by Gentry. He fouls it back to the screen.
And if Tillman is able to get Gentry here, he goes back after 3 innings. It's still 3-0. They feel like they're in complete command of the game. The Rangers still haven't scored. Only had 1 hit in the game, but with a base hit right here, it's 3-2, even though the Orioles have 7 hits.
Yeah, the only problem is Ron Washington doesn't have a sign for that hit that he can give to Gary Pettis.
He's been flashing it.
Yeah.
They're just missing it.
Now the 1-2 from Tillman. Big slow breaking ball that just missed. And it's 2-2. Good thing I missed because Gentry was in no spot to do anything with it. He was completely off balance with that hook.
Tillman thought it was a strike. It was pretty close.
Gentry's hands dropped down to about knee level.
He's just hoping it curved out of the strike zone, because you're right. Probably wasn't going to be able to pull the trigger on it.
Now the 2-2 coming. Do it again and got Gentry this time. Other side retire. The Rangers get a walk and a hit, but they strand 2. We're going to the 4th. It remains the Orioles 3, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
For Deck, I'm with the boys and girls RBI program of Arlington, and these guys are happy because what a day these guys have. This is James, plays with the team, plays shortstop. You guys played the championship game on the field right here this morning. What was that like, James?
That was just unbelievable. Like, it's so cool to be down there, and just that's something you're never going to forget.
Yeah. See any of the players?
Not today, but at the ceremony we saw Chris Davis. That was really cool. And we saw the Orioles take batting practice.
All right, there we go. All right, these guys still have the game pants on. Look at that. You roll around in the dirt, steal a couple of bases. Way to go. All right, congratulations, guy. Enjoy the rest of the game. Appreciate it. All right, Buzz.
All right, Noxie, thank you. Good going out there. Ryan Roberts turning on an inside fastball from Martin Perez and hit it up in Ian Kinsler's territory, up in the 3rd deck. About halfway between home plate and the foul line, the foul pole. I still don't know how you hit a ball that far foul and hit that hard. This one tomahawked down the left field line. That's trouble. Murphy into the corner. It's one hopping off the wall. Murphy playing the carom and stopping at second. He'll settle for a leadoff double. That's Brian Roberts. Well, he pulled one way foul, got basically the same pitch from Martin Perez and hammered that off the wall for a 2-bagger.
He got an 0-2 pitch. He hit it well, and right now the Orioles are just not a fun team to be facing. They're swinging the bats well. They've got a lot of good hitters in their lineup. Most of them are hot right now. 4 all-stars in their lineup. They're tough to pitch to right now.
Well, the American League leaders in doubles. Boston 219, but Baltimore not far behind. Baltimore has the most doubles of any team on the road in the American League. Bluffing a bunt. Nate McLeod pulls the bat back. The pitch is high for ball one. Orioles with 110 doubles coming into play today on the road. It's the best in Major League Baseball, and 66 home runs, also the most of any Major League club. There's a bunt to the right side. Perez, the only player over there that was going to be able to get him, he does. On to third goes Roberts. A nice play by Martin Perez to prevent a real big debacle.
He showed some athletic ability right here. He fell off the mound toward third base and does a 360 and quickly recovers to make that play. That was a very nice play by Martin. Very nice bunt by McLeod too.
So with one out now, Roberts at third base, and Manny Machado will come up. The Rangers have to pull the infield all the way in, trailing 3-0. Machado 0 for 2, and he has now seen 4 consecutive changeups and hasn't made contact with one of them.
He's missed every one of them. In his mind, it's still going to be a fastball. So I guess as a pitcher, when do you stop throwing changeups?
When he hits it.
Well,
That's out of play.
At least he made contact with that one, but that's 5 straight.
And the only reason he did on that one is because it was up a bit.
It was high. Well, you got to throw him another one down in the dirt right
I
here.
agree.
Just like you struck him out with last time. Man on third base, he's very anxious right now. He sees the infield in. It's an RBI opportunity. He'll get a chance to see another one.
Tried to get him low and in and couldn't quite get it in there. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Machado, a strikeout and a pop out.
The Orioles became the 3rd team ever to have 4 players with at least 105 hits at the All-Star break. That tells you the kind of team they've got. Machado, Jones, Markakis, and Davis all had at least 105 hits.
Up the middle by the glove of Perez in his center field. That'll be an RBI single as Brian Roberts trots down the line from third. Steps on home plate, and the Orioles lead 4-0.
Well, it was 6 straight changeups. He was out in front of every one of them, but he's got great coverage of the plate. And that ball was up enough, 1 and 2, to where he was able to get the bat on it. If he throws it maybe a foot lower, he's got a chance to strike him out, but he threw it for a strike. And Machado was able to put the bat on it, make contact, and drive it through the hole.
Well, the Orioles now 4 runs on 9 hits in the first 3 and a third inning against Martin Perez. Machado at first. Nick Markakis, who has grounded out twice, is the hitter. And they've got Machado picked off the throw to second. And Elvis puts the tag down, and Machado's a dead duck, or Oriole in this case. A 1-3-6 on the pickoff / caught stealing.
Machado didn't have a very big lead. I think his plan was to get a small lead. Perez would look at him and not think much of it, and then on first move he would go to second base and be able to get a good jump. Didn't work that way though.
And a breaking ball and nibbles on the outside corner for strike 1. The base is empty now. Markakis, a .281 hitter as he waits for Martin Perez. Slow breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
A couple of birthdays to mention. Frankie Denny, 80 years old from Arlington. Good curveball from Martin. Ray Hall from Wichita Falls is 88. Elmer Sumrow from Seminole, Texas is 91 years old today.
Chopper to the right side, cut off by Moreland. Overhands the Perez covering just in time to get Markakis. Nice play by Moreland and Perez. That'll do it, but the Orioles score another run on a couple of hits, nobody left. 4-0 Baltimore as we go to the bottom of the 4th. On Fox Sports Southwest. It's the Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. A lot of the kids enjoying their time at the ballpark. They'd much prefer, though, the Rangers be on the other side of the score. It's 4-0 Baltimore. And Nelly Cruz getting set to start off the Ranger fourth inning. Be Cruz, Beltre, and Pierzynski to face Chris Tillman. Cruz a strikeout back in the first inning. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's the curveball he used to strike out Craig Gentry with men on second and third. Big overhand curveball. Big break to it.
Yeah. Kept it away from him, and Cruz now with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Nelly 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. He takes another off-speed pitch that floats in. It's 1-2. Cruz 324 the average over the last 16 ball games.
3 birthdays I want to mention again quickly. Frankie Denny from Arlington, Ray Hall from Wichita Falls, Elmer Sumrall from Seminole, Texas. Happy birthday. A couple of wedding anniversaries we'll get to in just a second. Ronald and Wanda Kearney from Garland celebrating their 57th wedding anniversary today. And recently, Bob and Jewel Gathright from Azle celebrated their 60th. So happy birthdays, happy anniversaries.
Payoff pitch to Cruz, got him swinging. Pulled the string, and Cruz strikes out for the second time tonight. 1 away for Adrian Beltre.
Well, one thing we've seen from the 3 Oriole pitchers in this series, Chen, Gonzalez, and now Tillman, is a good assortment of pitches. Effective fastballs and good pitches, secondary pitches to go along with the fastball. In the case of Tillman, it's a big curveball. He's also thrown a cut fastball, and recently a couple of good changeups to Nelly.
1 ball, no strikes to Beltre. Adrian fouled out to the right fielder Nick Markakis back in the second inning. Beltre, you see, a 313 with the average. A rip and a miss. There's that fastball darting away from Adrian Beltre's bat. Beltre, a 363 hitter since the start of 2011 against these Orioles. That's out of play down the right side. 1-2 now. There's one thing about Baltimore, what they have brought in and what they have brought to the ballpark for the last 9 or 10 ball games now has been great starting pitching. Their starters have worked deep into ball games and have done an outstanding job. Popped up, shallow right field. Plenty of time for Markakis to come in and get under it. That is out number 2. Well, Never Stop Improving is brought to you by Lowe's. And tonight the home improvement spotlight goes to A.J. Pierzynski. Multiple hits in 4 of his last 7 games. That's after not having a multi-hit game in his previous 13. He's never stopping improving. A.J. Pierzynski brought to you by Lowe's. A.J. a ground ball to second, his first time. Hits it hard, but one hop or short hop by Chris Davis, who takes it to the bag. And very quickly the Rangers are disposed of in the 4th. 3 up and 3 down. On to the 5th we go. 4-0 Baltimore. through August the 13th. You can enter to win free Rangers tickets and a VIP Ranger experience. Visit otbfanzone.com for more details. Ranger fans would be more than happy to enter for the chance to win a Ranger experience if it involves more runs. Having a little problem right now putting runs on the board. Now we go to the top of the 5th inning, as always, or at least other than the last 2 nights. Joining us, Mark McLemore, co-host of Rangers Live, and great job, Mac. I already complimented Tom, but you and he did a super job on those 2 games. I really appreciate it. And fans, I know, got a lot of valuable insight. Can't say much for your offense, but that's okay.
Well, thanks. Well, we missed you, that's for sure.
Thank you. David Murphy handles the long fly ball to left center field. That's out number 1 as Adam Jones flies out. Now Chris Davis. You know, it's a perplexing thing, Mac. I noticed you guys were talking about the timing of the All-Star break, and everybody figures, well, you know, people are worn out, they need time off. And I kind of got the feeling you said 4 days is too much.
Yeah.
That can mess you up a little bit. And it's not like the Rangers were scoring runs at will just prior to the All-Star break. They were having some problems. But could that have been the kind of timing that was not good for that length of time away?
It can. You know, time off isn't always a good thing. And, you know, some guys react to it differently than others. You know, a hitter's timing is something that's very, very tricky. And sometimes it can be 1 day, sometimes it can be 4 or 5 days, and it can be totally screwed up. And sometimes you can be off for a week or 2 weeks. You have guys that go on the disabled list and come back like they hadn't missed a beat. And then you'll have guys that, you know, they're on fire when they, you know, if something happens, they go on the disabled list or an all-star break and come back, and the timing is nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. So it's a tricky, delicate thing. You know, I can see some of the guys right now, their timing's just not there.
Right.
You know, they're being pitched tough, obviously, this series. You know, that's part of it. But they've had some pitches. There's no question about it. They've had some pitches to hit, but they fouled them off. They've been late. They've been fooled on some pitches. So you can definitely see there are a few guys that their timing is just not there yet.
Yeah, it's almost tough to answer the question, is it good Baltimore pitching or the Rangers hitters? And sometimes you say, well, it's half and half.
Right.
You know, Baltimore is pitching very well. Don't take anything away from them. And every ball that is put in play, they have somebody there that can catch it and throw it to the right place. But Rangers are not doing things that we know they can do.
Right. It's a little bit of both. The Baltimore pitchers are definitely making pitches when they need to make them, but they've made some mistakes as well, and the Rangers aren't capitalizing. Mm-hmm. You know, right now what the Orioles offense is doing, they're not missing any of the Rangers' mistakes right now. And that's something the Rangers hitters aren't doing. Baltimore pitchers are making mistakes, but the Rangers hitters right now are just fouling them back.
A fastball for a strike to Matt Wieters. Well, you know, look at today's ball game. Chris Davis in the 2nd inning gets the sun-aided double to lead things off. Immediately, Matt Wieters hits the pitch up the middle for the RBI single. And that's been the story of the entire series. Is that Baltimore hitters have followed up a mistake with a capitalizing base hit. We'll continue talking about that as the Orioles are gone in order. First time this afternoon. Halfway through the game, 4-0 Baltimore. preseason home game, including this one on this coming Thursday, the 25th against the Yankees. Sections 201 through 208 become the Kia K-Zone. Fans seated in the Kia K-Zone receive a complimentary T-shirt and a K-card to celebrate strikeouts racked up by Rangers pitchers. Tickets start at just $32 and can be found at TexasRangers.com/K-Zone. Mitch Moreland to start things off. Moreland, Andrews, and Murphy against Chris Tillman. Mark McLemore joining Tom Grieve and myself in this inning. And Mac, you and I were talking about what the Orioles have been able to do. And it isn't just happenstance that we're seeing a club in Baltimore that has won 6 of 7 that's doing things like this. Baltimore is a very fundamentally sound club, and they're putting things together pretty well.
They really are, and it starts with their pitching staff. Their pitching staff has been tremendous. They're throwing the ball. Their starters are going deep into ball games.
Mitch Moreland skies out to center field. Elvis Andrews now will come up.
You know, they're just getting it done. Offensively, they're swinging the bats. The middle of the order is doing well. The top of the order, the bottom of the order. They've got a lot of young ball players that are just getting it done. They come to play every day, and I think one of the biggest things about it is they're staying healthy. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got 3/4 of their infield that have played pretty much every game, you know, this season, and that's a big part. You know, you've got to stay healthy, and they're playing well, so they're putting up some pretty good numbers.
Tillman's first pitch, and Elvis takes a strike. Elvis drew a walk. He became the first Ranger base runner back in the 3rd inning. Other than that 3rd, Tillman has not allowed a base runner in the 1st, 2nd, or 4th inning. And there's a little flare out to right field. That's going to settle in for a base hit. So Elvis on for the 2nd time this afternoon. 1 out, David Murphy coming up, and right now let's head over for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Dana? All right, Dana, thank you. Here the Rangers trying to claw their way back into this ball game, trailing 4-0. Andrus at first after a 1-out single. David Murphy, 0 for 1, is at the plate. The strike to the inner part. 0-1 to Murphy.
Tillman, we mentioned, was 11-3, made the All-Star team, but his last 2 starts against the Yankees in Toronto, he gave up 18 hits and 8 runs in 11 1/3. So he was struggling in his last 2 starts.
A late cut at a foul tip. It's 0-2. David, 4 out of 6 in this series. Had a 3-hit ball game last night. Elvis the lead from first, and the pitch is high and away. 1-2 now. Murphy at 227 as Elvis steps off that lead at first base. Chris Davis holding the inside of the bag down there. Right-hander Tillman comes set. And Murphy able to spoil the pitch away from him. Tillman a long look at first. And a ball hit towards short and through for a base hit. Elvis making the turn, and he picked up the pitcher, Chris Tillman, who was going over to cover third. You remember the other night when Jeff Baker was able to go from first to second and then to third because Machado wasn't able to get back to third with an overshift on. Well, they made the correction because Tillman did exactly what the pitcher's supposed to do, and that's become the third baseman.
Yeah, Mac and I remember that play, Buzz. Neither one of us saw it. He would have gotten both of us at third base, too.
But we were live on this one. We saw this one. We saw this one develop. We were there.
I'm not taking my eyes off the field now.
Well, there's an example of hitting one into the shift. The shift will take some away. It'll also give some, and that's a ground ball to shortstop.
Little number down the third baseline. Wieters fires on to first, and Leonis Martin, not a very productive at bat. First pitch, he gets fisted. And there are two gone now with runners at second and third.
Well, same situation as the Rangers had in the third inning. Second and third and 2 outs, and you need that big hit. Leonis not happy with that at bat, but if you get a base hit right here, at least he moved an extra runner into scoring position and cut the gap in half.
Here. Go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, just a matter of coming up with that hit.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to do it yet.
Need Gary Pettis to continue to put that hit sign on down there at third, and somebody will pick it up. Ian had an opposite field double his last time up there. Tillman from the stretch. And fires the pitch just a little bit high for ball one. The Kinsler now at 282 with the average. Three out of 10 in this series to open up the post All-Star break portion of the 2013 schedule. 1-0 pitch to right center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. One run is home. Here comes Murphy. The throw by Markakis is cut off, and now they got Kinsler hung up. Murphy is now hung up as the throw goes back to third. They're going to run it toward the plate. He's going to be tagged out. Third time in this series, the Rangers have had a base running blunder cost them, and cost them at third base. Well, they do get on the board. It's now a run on 3 hits, but that is going to do it in the 5th inning. We're going to the 6th. It's 4-1 Baltimore. Mac, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
We'll see you guys.
Opportunity to make it a little bit more, and here's the reason it's not.
A line drive into the gap in right center field, fairly deep. It's a long throw from Markakis. Davis cut the ball off, assuming that David Murphy was going to score, which he would have scored easily. Instead, he was held up. Kinsler, who took a wide turn, is trapped off first. They get David going back to third base. Just tough to win with plays like that.
Line drive into the glove of Adrian Beltre, and A.J. Hardy will make a U-turn and quickly head back to the Oriole dugout, out number 1.
It's the second time in this series a similar type play on the bases. when the Rangers are down in a fairly close game. And it's just a paralyzing play to the offense when you have something like that happen. Pretty much the Orioles were conceding that run. The throw was offline. It wasn't going to go to home plate. It was going to go 10 feet up the line. Davis knew that. He cut the ball off, just assuming that second run would score. I have to admit, I assumed it had scored too.
I had too. Next thing I knew, I looked up and Murph was standing right next to Gary Pettis, getting in a rundown. And I didn't see Gary Pettis put up a stop sign.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just assumed that he did when David went back.
And very quickly, Danny Valencia is struck out for the second time this evening. 5 strikeouts now for Martin Perez, 2 away for Brian Roberts.
Yeah, Martin has retired 6 straight, a couple of them on strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody tonight, struck out 5. He's down 4-0. He's thrown the ball pretty well tonight, though, with some help defensively. Be a little less than 4-0. 4-1, excuse me.
Elvis behind the bag at second, on to first in a very quick and tidy 7-pitch 1-2-3 inning. 5.5 in the books. The Orioles 4, the Rangers 1. Fox Sports Southwest. To you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $500 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Carl Pickren from Garland. And if a Ranger hits grand slam this inning, Carl Pickren from Garland will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, Craig Gentry to start things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A 4-1 Oriole lead. Gentry 0 for 2 with a fly ball and a strikeout, and Craig takes ball 1. And Gentry would have been hitting in the 5th inning had this not happened.
You can see Gary way down the line. He puts his hand up to hold David, but he's about halfway home and just didn't have time to get back to third base. It's always a tough call for a third base coach.
Slicing fly ball down the line. It is foul off the bat of Craig Gentry.
No, it's a borderline play. Can he score? Can he not score? You've got to make a split-second decision whether to hold the runner or not. Gary was way down the line, kind of gave himself plenty of time to make the call. He made the call to hold the runner. Problem was David was so far down the line he couldn't get back to third base. As it turned out, Chris Davis cut the ball off and David would have been able to score.
A ball and a strike. The count to Gentry. And another shot down the right side. This one further back into the seats. And the count moves to 1-2.
Like one of the reasons that Ian took the wide turn at first base, I think he thought that ball was going to go through to the catcher, and he was going to be able to take second base and get into scoring position.
Right.
But Davis knew the throw was offline a little bit, so that's why he cut it. And they were able to trap Kinsler off first base, and then eventually David Murphy off third base. If you're the cutoff man, whether you're the third baseman or the first baseman, you're lined up so that if the throw comes right straight to you, you know it's on line to the catcher.
Gentry down the left field line, a fair ball on the chalk, heading to the corner. McLeod over to dig it out, and after a turn at second, Gentry will hang on with a leadoff double.
And just to finish that thought, if it comes right at you, then you have the choice to cut it or let it go through to the catcher. If you see that the throw is offline to the right or left, then you cut it on your own because you know it's not going to go to the catcher. Good job by Craig. He got an off-speed pitch, just barely keeps it fair right on top of the foul line. Down the left field line, leadoff double, so the Rangers are knocking on the door again. They're down by 3, but they've got the middle of the order coming up and a chance to do some damage here.
And here's Nelly Cruz, who has struck out both times that he has faced Tillman here this evening. Takes the first fastball, a strike on the inside corner. Cruz, as you can see, a .275 hitter. Trying to pick up at least his 70th RBI, if not 71st, with one swing of the bat. Check swing on the high fastball. It is 1-1. Showed you the numbers that Nelly Cruz has lifetime against the Orioles. .353. It's fourth best among active hitters. And he's hit safely in 35 of 40 games against Baltimore pitching. Big slow breaking ball that hangs high, and it's 2-1. Cruz, in his last 27 games, and this is going back a full month, 5 home runs, 25 RBI, and a .315 batting average. Trying to pick up Gentry from second, who has the lead. And the pitch is high. It's 3-1. Well, Cruz now sitting in a pretty good hitter's count. Rangers down by 3, but they have their leadoff man at second after the Craig Gentry double. Tillman working with his third 3-ball count of the evening. Rip and a miss by Cruz. It's a full count now.
Might have been a little bit out of the strike zone. High fastball. Got a big one left.
Cruz waiting in that wide open stance. And Tillman set a check of second base. Payoff pitch. Got him swinging. No tag there, and so Weeder's going to have to throw on to first. He does. And Cruz is struck out for the third time tonight. That is out number 1. Adrian Beltre coming up. Quick reminder, folks, play Lotto Texas with Extra. Your chance to win Texas-sized jackpots. It's Texas' original jackpot game, available at your favorite lottery retailer.
Well, Tillman on the 3-2 pitch, after he got him to swing at a high fastball on the 3-1 pitch, that would have been ball 4. He went with a big curveball, 3-2, and that fooled Nelly. I'm sure Nelly's looking fastball all the way. Was unable to lay off the curveball, which would have been out of the strike zone in ball 4.
Beltre ducking down. He got a low bridge by that hanging curveball up over his head. Beltre twice has flied to right tonight. Craig Gentry getting the lead at the bottom of your screen. Adrian Beltre stepping back in to the batter's box. Tillman okays the sign and checks Gentry at second. Rip and a miss. And the count is even to Beltre. Neil Kotz, the left-hander, up and loosening in that Ranger bullpen. Now Tillman with the advantage in the count after the foul ball. It is 1-2 to Adrian Beltre. Gentry still at second, one out after he led the inning off with a double. Tillman checks him. And Beltre hanging tough. Still 1-2. Beltre waiting as Tillman reads the signs. And a fly ball to right. Markakis toward the line has it. And that is out number 2. Gentry staying at second. It'll be up to A.J. Pierzynski if the Rangers are to get anything done with the leadoff double. And that has been a problem in this series for the Rangers too, getting that leadoff man aboard and not being able to advance him whatsoever.
Yeah, hate to miss the opportunity when you get a leadoff double and it's someone with the speed of Craig Gentry and you're not able to bring him in. Hopefully a little 2-out hit by AJ right here will accomplish that, cut the gap to 4-2.
Pierzynski a couple of ground balls to the right side tonight. 0 for 2, hitting at .283. Tillman's first pitch up the middle, but that's right where the shortstop J.J. Hardy is. So Gentry stranded, and the theme continues for the Rangers. No runs a hit, and one man left. On to the 7th, 4-1 Baltimore. Baltimore action in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th innings, taking a 4-0 lead, and the Rangers came back with one and only one in the 4th inning. Tillman so far just 5 hits and a run in 6 innings of work. Rangers 3 for 22 with runners in scoring position this series. And if memory serves, I think 2 of those 3 hits came in the 8th inning last night. Scored 3 runs. Top of the order to face Martin Perez. He drops in a slow hook to Nate McLeod. McLeod 1 for 2 tonight. Singled his first time up, struck out and sacrificed. He's down on the count here, 0-2.
I really like the way Martin is throwing the ball right now. They scored 1 run on a ball that was lost in the sun. They've had 3 doubles that have started rallies. They've scored 4 runs, but he's throwing the ball pretty well right now. He's retired 8 straight now.
Into the glove of Elvis Andrus, that high pop-up. That is out number 1. Manny Machado will step in. Well, folks, each Wednesday during the season is Dr. Pepper Autograph Wednesday. And this Wednesday, the Rangers face the Yankees. Kids 13 and under can get autographs from 3 Rangers players and 1 Rangers coach between 5:30 and 6 p.m. Names of the players and the coach will be available when the gates open that night. Tickets for the game and Dr. Pepper Autograph Wednesday are available at TexasRangers.com.
Martin's throwing a lot of strikes. 65 strikes and 28 balls.
Sure, that'll fortify the opinion of Mike Maddox and everybody on the coaching staff about his ability to bounce back and be more aggressive. And just that the game in Detroit kind of got away from him in that regard, and he's able to come back here today and do it extremely well.
Yep, against a really good hitting team.
Falls behind to Machado at 2 balls and a strike.
He's getting a lot of valuable experience. And again, you have to remember he's only 22 years old. A lot of kids are just coming out of the draft and into the minor leagues when they're 22 years old.
The curveball stayed high. It's 3-1. Machado, the number 2 hitter, trying to get aboard with 1 out. He'll be followed by the right fielder, Nick Markakis. Little nubber down the first baseline, and Pierzynski can't get to it when it's in fair territory. Instead, it's a foul ball. We'll come back and try it at 3-2. Machado 1 for 3 today, had an RBI, his 47th of the year, with a 2-out single in the 4th inning. Make that a 1-out single. It was after the McLeod sacrifice bunt. Perez to the wind, the payoff pitch. Going inside, ball 4. Machado a 1-out walk. He is aboard. That is the first free pass issued by Martin Perez today, and it's going to be the last hitter he faces as Ron Washington bouncing out of the dugout, and he's looking toward the bullpen. And the skipper makes the sign out there. He wants the left-hander Neil Koch to come on. So Perez gets into the 7th inning. Can't close out the inning. He leaves after a pop out and a walk. 6 1/3 innings for Martin Perez. Good evening of work for the young left-hander. Neil Koch coming on. We'll take a timeout. 4-1. The Orioles leading the Rangers. Fox Sports Southwest. Out here in the top of the 7th inning. Neil Kotz, the left-hander. And our DirecTV standings tonight showing the American League West standings. These are as of the win by Oakland over the Angels this afternoon. Rangers now 2.5 back. Angels back to 10 games off the pace. Seattle 11 and Houston 23.5. The Rangers need to mount a comeback here and win this ballgame to avoid falling 3 full games behind the Oakland A's. Nick Markakis is the hitter. Neil Kotz, who is coming out of the bullpen to take over on the mound, will face him.
Excellent numbers for Neil Kotz. Can't ask for any more than he's done. 4 out of 5 decisions he's won and an ERA of 1.01.
The first pitch to Markakis is high for ball 1.
He's come in and thrown quality pitches, 92-mile-an-hour fastballs with a good slider.
The Ranger bullpen, as you can see, going back better part of 2 months now, an ERA of right at 2.
Now, the Ranger offense has been average. Defense has been average. Starting pitching has been up and down. The one reason the Rangers are around 10 games over 500 is the bullpen. That's been the most consistent part of the team all season long.
1 ball, no strikes. The count to Markakis. A late rip and miss, and it's 1-1.
There's a lot of swings and misses, especially from left-hand hitters.
Now, Neil Kotz, a huge part of that bullpen. The bullpen, as a matter of fact, in the midst of a 17 consecutive scoreless inning streak. Got that going for a while now. On the pitch outside, it's 2-1. Dustin Grimm and Robbie Ross down there. That ERA the Rangers sport of an even 2 since June 7th. That's the best in Major League Baseball for a relief corps. Kotz sets. And the 2-1. 3-1. Well, Neil Kotz trying to get the left-hander Markakis, and Markakis trying to get aboard with 1 out. Adam Jones, the center fielder, he's waiting in the on-deck circle. Fouled out of play to the left. That was kind of a late jump from first by Manny Machado. Like it was kind of an afterthought that he was going to go. Well, he reverses course anyway.
With the All-Star break, Kotz hasn't pitched in 7 days. He's had a long extended break. Joe Nathan pitched in the All-Star game. Joaquin Soria's had at least 6 days off. Let's see when he pitched last. Same time, he's had a week off too. There's times where the bullpen is gassed. Right now, it's well rested. Like to have some close games where they have a lot of work to do.
And Kotz working on Machado now at first.
More importantly, like to have some late inning leads that they need to protect.
So
that's what they've excelled at.
I'd like to see Joe Nathan have to work 4 or 5 or 6 days in a row.
Yep, find out who's going to save the game because he's unable to go.
Kotz with the payoff pitch. High in the air, right side, down the line. Kinsler coming over along with Moreland. Then ball's going to be back in the 5th row. Well, we'll come back and try it again at a 3-2 count.
Well, one thing we have seen, if there is a game where Joe Nathan is not available, Joaquin Soria has thrown the ball really well. He's pitched 3 times and has had good stuff in all three outings. So if he needs to pitch, he would definitely be available.
Kotz again ready. A little looper foul behind the screen and back into the seats. Kotz having to work here. This will be his 8th pitch of the at-bat to Nick Markakis. Machado still the runner at first. 1 out. here in the 7th inning. Outside, ball 4. And there are 2 aboard now for Adam Jones. And boy, what a job by Markakis to work that walk from Cox.
Well, Markakis, we've talked about him several times. He's not a guy that strikes out very much. He makes contact. He's been up 390 times. He's only struck out 43 times. He's a contact hitter. Gives you a tough at bat up there. Lifetime 295 hitter. Line drive hitter, uses the whole field, gets a lot of extra base hits, a lot of doubles. Not a big home run guy.
And here's a guy who can pop the ball out of the yard with pretty good frequency. It's Adam Jones. That is 20th of the year last night. Runners at first and second. A little late with the swing on the fastball. It's 0-1. Jones 2 for 4, or 2 for 5, I should say, in last night's game. He is 3 out of 11 in this series overall. 0-1 pitch to him. And Cox now jumping out in front of the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Adam Jones, a 5-game hitting streak that is in jeopardy. Rangers have held him hitless today, 0 for 3. And Cox with the decided advantage in the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Machado at second, Markakis at first. And the 33-year-old left-hander Neil Cox ready to work. One ball and 2 strikes. Cox okays the sign, a check of second. Now he'll step off as Ian Kinsler made a couple of steps to the bag. Machado kind of wandering off, and no throw to second. But Cox wanted to make sure Kinsler got back in position. Now the left-hander ready one more time. Fouled out of play. Still 1-2. Jones waiting. Cox back to him. Going on and foul tipped. That pitch really diving into the hands.
They're having a hard time putting away Markakis and Jones. He's had to throw 13 pitches. The pitch was way inside that Jones was able to foul it off as a surprise. Pretty good slider, 6 or 8 inches inside.
Cox studying the signs very intently, and now the left-hander's ready. Got him swinging. Heated him up upstairs, and that is out number 2.
The high fastball, 92 miles an hour. I think from Cox, though, that 92 looks like 95. He throws it up there. Not many hitters have made solid contact.
Well, with 2 outs now, Chris Davis will provide the challenge for Neil Cox. Rangers going to an overshift with Elvis Andrus playing right behind the bag. Now a couple of steps toward the first base side of the infield. Adrian Beltre over there has to stay fairly close to third because of Machado being the runner at second. Chris Davis 1 for 3 tonight. Doubled back in the second. Simpson has flied out and struck out. Fastball inside. It's 2-0. Cots facing Davis. Davis hitting a .313. 37 home runs and 94 RBI. 2-0 pitch. 2-1. It's pretty much right down in Davis's wheelhouse, except coming from a left-hander, it's a little bit different. Now the 2-1 pitch.
That's not his wheelhouse.
No.
That's the pitcher's wheelhouse to him.
Now, how many left-handed hitters have you seen have that kind of a hole up and in? Almost every power-hitting left-hander has that. Hard part's getting it there. Crowd backing Cots, and a ground ball picked off nicely by Andrus. Low throw dug out by Moreland. Nice play on both ends, and that'll do it for the Orioles. No runs, no hits. The 2 walkers left stranded. 7th inning stretch time. It is 4-1 Baltimore as you watch Elvis Andrus work his magic. Time now to switch it over to Chuck Morgan as he asks the crowd here to honor America with the singing of God Bless America.
God Bless America with Erica Stevens.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
When you change everything, you change everything. Well, the Rangers looking for a little change here as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 4-1 Baltimore. Good job by Neil Cots coming on to get the final 2 outs of that 7th inning. Now the Rangers come to bat. Mitch Moreland, Elvis Andrus, and David Murphy, the first 3 to do the swinging against Chris Tillman. Rangers 1 run on just 5 hits against Tillman. 3 of those hits came back in the 5th inning, and Mitch Moreland takes high and outside for ball 1. Mitch, a fly ball to center and a strikeout. The next pitch is low. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Tillman with 5 punch outs and just 1 walk here this evening. A rip and a miss on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2-1. See Tillman, very manageable pitch count, still under the 90 pitch mark as he works here in inning number 7. Right-hander back to the plate. And Moreland shoots it the other way, but it's into the club level down the left field line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Full shift, overshift on in the infield for Baltimore. Machado, the third baseman, playing where the normal shortstop hole would be. That is just off the outside corner. Mitch, a good eye to take that pitch. The count has gone full. Moreland trying to get aboard to start the 7th. Elvis Andrus, Rangers shortstop, waiting in that on-deck circle. Payoff pitch. Off the end of the bat out toward Machado at short. Quick throw and just in time to get Moreland at first. That is out number 1. Now before Elvis steps in, let's take time for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Dana? All right, Dana, thank you. Elvis Andrus has been aboard both times that he has faced Tillman tonight. He's walked. He dumped a single into right field his last time up. Elvis hitting at 246. He thinks that like a cutter just off the plate. It's 2-0. Orioles 4 runs on 9 hits. Rangers 1 run on 5 hits. There's a strike, and it's 2-1.
Well, Rangers went through a little bit of a stretch kind of like this. They lost 5 or 6 games in a row. They turned it around, went to St. Louis and swept 3 games there. Ended up winning, I think it was 9 out of 11 games. Got right back to where they wanted to get. They got to 16 games over 500 for the first time this year. And now they're kind of falling on hard times again. So all you can do as a team is trust the talent, trust your ability, and keep battling through it. And eventually you come out of it. But it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel when you're kind of in the middle of a bad streak like this.
Well, Elvis aboard for his 3rd time this evening. A couple of walks and a base hit. 1 out. David Murphy, who is 1 for 2, will step to the plate. Murph now for the average at 230, and that's the highest he has been since opening day. First pitch, a knee-high strike. And out in the right center field bullpen, Joaquin Soria, right-hander, loosening. 0-1 the count to Murphy. Andrus the lead at first. Murphy a hot shot caught by Machado, back to first. They double off Elvis. And the Rangers lose yet another runner on the base paths. This one a rocket turned into a 5-3 double play. And the Rangers 7th comes to a close. 3 up and 3 gone with that double play from Machado to Davis. On to the 8th, 4-1 Baltimore. reverse replay. And night for Martin Perez, 5 strikeouts in total. And he just completely overmatched several of the Baltimore hitters. And some strikeouts coming at big times, too. And after 6 1/3, Ron Washington went out and got him. And I know that won't be an outing that Martin Perez looks at like was his best, but he could have been backed up a little more solidly at times by his Ranger teammates. He did an outstanding job. Here's Joaquin Soria to take over as we head to the 8th inning.
I think the one thing you can say watching Martin Perez for the 6 or 7 starts that he's had, including tonight, is at age 22, he's got a bright future. He threw a lot of pitches tonight that as he gets better, more confident, develops, going to make him a solid big league pitcher. He's got good velocity, reached 95 miles an hour today. Had a super changeup at times. Breaking ball is promising. No reason to believe he won't be a mainstay in the rotation for many years to come watching him.
And Soria missing outside. The count runs to 3 balls and no strikes to Matt Wieters. Now Wieters this evening 2 for 3. He has scored a couple of times. He has driven in a run. Singled and doubled. And Soria misses outside. A 4-pitch walk, and that's how the 8th inning gets underway. Well, as J.J. Hardy comes up, let's go out and say hello to Jim Knox again. Jim.
All right, Buzz, real quick time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Laura and Sonia. They came all the way in from Texarkana. They're the loudest fans in the stadium. How long have you been Ranger fans?
53 years!
53 years. They decided, hey, tonight's the night. We're going to come watch the Rangers. What do you think so far?
I think it's awesome. We need a few more runs, but so far it's awesome!
All right, here's the bag. Congratulations. Anything else, Sonia?
Well, I would like to say from the #1 Rangers fans, here's a smooch from us to you, Buzz and Tom. I love you, Buzz.
There we go. There we go. All right, girls. Thank you very much. All right,
Buzz and Tom, you're awesome.
Wow. Maybe get them on the payroll. Pretty good.
Got some energy right there.
Yes, they do.
Knox can find some great Ranger fans. That's for sure. Thank you, ladies.
Soria missing low and outside. It runs the count to 2 balls and a strike to J.J. Hardy. Hardy, like Wieters, 2 out of 3 tonight, a single and a double. He has not scored a run, but he has driven in one. Soria back to the plate, and Hardy pops it up. Moreland right at the railing, but that ball is back on top of the Ranger dugout, and Kangaroos about 10 or 12 rows back. Moves the count to 2-2. A.J. Hardy with those 2 hits, now hitting at .255 for the season. Three balls, 2 strikes. So Soria, uncharacteristically, having a little trouble nailing down home plate.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything close to that from him in the 3 times he's pitched. He's pitched 3 innings, hasn't walked anybody, struck out 3, only given up 1 hit.
Hardy, drive to left center field. Murphy going back at the track, at the wall, and makes the catch. Back to first goes Wieters. Boy, Hardy gave that a ride, and it didn't look like off the bat it was going to carry that far. But that guy has some pretty good pop in the bat.
Yeah, I think he hit it just a tad toward the end of the bat. Still almost hit it 410 feet into the Oriole bullpen. David stays right with it and catches it right in the middle of the warning track. Hardy just missed that one.
And now a pinch hitter. Buck Showalter going to the bench. Henry Uratuya. He got the start in last night's ball game as the DH. Urrutia. I had it right on the tip of my tongue, Tom. Appreciate the help.
I had to ask how you pronounce it and then practice it 4 or 5 times before I said it.
It's not a real common. It's not like Jones or Smith or something like that.
Well, it's also not like he's been in the big leagues before either.
Soria back to him, misses low and inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Urrutia hitting at 250. No home runs. He has 1 RBI. This young man, highly regarded out of Cuba. Squirts 1 foul down the third base side, and the count moves to 1-2.
Now, one thing the Orioles say about him is he's a line drive hitter, uses the whole field. He's 26 years old, may not be a power hitter, tough to tell. They say he's a good hitter. Line drive power, a lot of doubles. Double A and Triple A this year. He's hitting 365.
Count is even to him. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Soria back to the plate. Shot foul back to the screen. It's still 2-2.
A little bit late on that fastball.
Urrutia last night 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 4, excuse me, with an RBI. Up there is a pinch hitter for Danny Valencia here this evening. Got Wieters at first with 1 out in the 8th inning. Soria misses inside. The count has gone full. Soria, after walking Wieters and ran the string out to Hardy, got the fly ball. Urrutia, the pinch hitter, has gone to a 3-2 count. You can see that Brian Roberts waits in the on-deck circle. Ground ball, diving stop by Mitch. From his knees, he gets the out and chuck it. The return throw not quite in time, but what a play by Moreland.
Rangers had a couple of opportunities to make that play today. That time they just didn't have time. Urrutia beat the throw to first base. Soria got over to first. Was able to play it almost like a first baseman. Just weren't able to get Urrutia, who beat it out. Nice play by Mitch, though. Good accurate throw from his knees. Just not enough time to make the play.
Urrutia, the runner now at first base with 2 outs. And Brian Roberts, who is 2 for 3, will step to the plate. And a strike is called on the outside corner. You look at Wieters, Hardy, and Roberts. They have 6 hits between them. They have scored 3 runs, driven in a couple. It's pretty good production in the bottom of your order. That's lanced foul back into the seats down the right side. It's 0-2. Joakim Soria trying to work through a difficult inning, the most difficult anyway that he has had in a Ranger uniform this year. But to say you're having a tough inning, and as long as you put a 0 up there, all is forgiven. Go back to the dugout, and guys say, nice going, way to get your work in. Oh, and 2, and the count to Roberts. Down the right field line is hooking and going foul. And Roberts, he has gotten on top of some high pitches from both sides. He doubled into the left field corner off of Martin Perez back in the 4th inning. And that was as a right-handed hitter, and a left-handed hitter now against Joakim Soria. Tomahawk and everything in sight.
Well, Roberts has been hurt pretty much the last couple of years. He had concussion symptoms the last couple of years, but he's healthy now. Took him a while to get going, but he's swinging the bat pretty well right now. You get him batting 9th, approaching what he used to be, and just makes that lineup even more potent.
Shallow right field. Ian Kinsler picks off that ground ball. That'll do it. No runs, no hits to Walker, left stranded. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the Orioles 4, the Rangers 1, Fox Sports Southwest.
4-1, looking to salvage this series with the Baltimore Orioles, and we will talk all about it coming up on Rangers Live, presented by Esurance. Join me, Dana Larson, along with Mark McLemore, to break it all down. We'll also hear from Ron Washington and the key players and get you ready for the next upcoming series as the New York Yankees come to town. That's all coming up in just a bit right after the game. But for now, we get it back to Steve Busby and Tom Green.
Thank you, Dana. And we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Leonis Martin starting things off, shows bunt, and pulls the bat back on a high fastball. You got Manny Machado, the third baseman, charging down the line. Tillman about ready to throw his 100th pitch of the night. The right-hander deals and fires a strike. It is 1-1. 64 strikes and 36 balls for Chris Tillman. And 1-2 the count as he has the advantage on Leonis Martin. Martin tonight has tapped out in front of the plate and been on by a fielder's choice. That was back in the 3rd inning. Rangers just 5 hits, with 3 of them coming in the 5th inning. And Martin gone as he goes up the ladder and can't quite connect. That is strikeout number 6 for Tillman. Well, speaking of Leonis Martin, you can meet the Rangers outfielder this Tuesday at Whataburger. It's the Grand Prairie location on Carrier Parkway. Don't miss this chance to win great prizes and to meet one of your Texas Rangers at Whataburger.
One thing we've seen from all 3 Oriole pitchers is they have a great knack for changing speeds. Martin saw a changeup, fastball, some good slow curve balls, a cut fastball, kind of like a slider. A good assortment of pitches for Tillman tonight. Rangers have had some opportunities to do better than 1 run, but for the most part, he's pitched well.
Ginsberg, yeah, couldn't stop his swing there, and count moves to 1-1. Ian, a couple of hits tonight. He has driven in the only Ranger run. That was back in the 5th inning. Ian has singled and doubled. That batting average now at 285. The RBI total at 38 for the season. Out of play to the right. He hits a ball and 2 strikes. Ian back in there. The 1-2 offering. Call strike 3. Joe West rang him up, and Ian a little dejectedly heading back to the Ranger dugout. Back-to-back strikeouts, 7 for the evening. There are 2 gone for Chris Tillman.
Oh, good pitcher's pitch. It was high enough and just barely caught the outside corner. So Tillman finishing up strong. Pitching into the 8th inning, struck out the first 2 batters here in the 8th inning. 106 pitches, solid start.
Greg Gentry takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Orioles came out with a couple of statistics about Tillman. It really is no surprise that he has pitched this way. You go back to the middle of June of last year, and Tillman 20-6 among AL starters. That is second best, trailing only Max Scherzer, who is 23-3 since that time. Of course, that was when Tillman got into the starting rotation. 20-6. That's
not many people know that.
Pretty healthy.
Well, Tillman had 3 different times that he's been in the big leagues with the Orioles, each time for about 15 starts, 3 years in a row, and all 3 times his ERA was over 5. And last year he put it together, and this year he made the All-Star team.
Well, whatever hump he needed to get over to get that 5 out of the way, yeah, he's not stuck behind that hump anymore.
No, changed the 5. Now he has a 3 in front of it.
Late check swing, and the count goes to 3-2 to Craig Gentry.
You can tell by a couple of the swings that the Rangers are a little bit confused on his pitch selection, his change of speeds. Compliment all 3 Oriole starters in this series for their ability to do that.
Payoff pitch coming to Gentry. That's high, ball 4. Oh, a 2-out pass. And Nelly Cruz will get another shot at Chris Tillman here. Well, fans, get ready for Fox Sports 1. It's America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1. It's coming August 17th.
Tillman's had one start this year where he's thrown 114 pitches. That's his high. This will be 113.
Throws a drive. Deep left center field. Jones is going back. He puts the brakes on at the track and makes the catch. Nelly gave it a pretty good ride, but it came down short of the mark. And the Rangers strand a runner. We're going to the ninth. 4-1 Baltimore. Twitter poll tonight, and our question was to you was, who will win the American League East? And not surprisingly, 37% of you said these Baltimore Orioles are your odds-on favorites to win. Boston Red Sox, 29% of the vote. And the Rays, Blue Jays, and Yankees in descending order. Red Sox have not made believers out of folks quite yet for this year. Having a 93 loss season last year, and I guess you can understand that. Corey Burns to come on to take over here in the ninth inning, facing the top of the order, a 4-1 Baltimore lead. A strike to Nate McLeod. McLeod tonight is 1 for 3 with a single and a sacrifice. Burns back to him. Just missed the outside corner. McLeod, for the third straight game, opened up the contest tonight with a single. But he was stranded in that inning. Pulls this one on the ground to Kinsler. Knocks it down, but he can't find the handle to it. Stayed back where Ian was, and safely aboard at first base is Nate McLeod. We will see how they rule here on that. Steve Weller, the official scorer here tonight.
Well, Ian didn't come up with one, but that's one that he should come up with and does most of the time. He got to it. He just wasn't able to scoop it up.
Well, it'll be ruled the 10th hit of the night for the Orioles. A leadoff infield single. Now Manny Machado comes to the plate.
Definitely not a routine play, and it should be ruled a hit. Could be ruled a hit, however you want to look at it. But that's a play that we see Ian make frequently. Right. Let's put it that way.
Well, if it were ruled an error, you'd have a lot of people saying, well, that's ruled an error only because he has the ability to get to that ball.
Right.
Where most second basemen don't. You know, that's a valid point, too. I think the official scorer has to take into account what a normal second baseman, range-wise and everything else, would have a play like that. I'm not sure many normal second baseman would get to that ball. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Machado. The pitch a little bit low. It's 2-0. Machado 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. He also has driven in a run tonight. See the young third baseman hitting at .311. Clout driven back by a Corey Burns toss to first. Brian Mattis, the left-hander, loosening, and it appears it will probably be the pitcher as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Jim Johnson, even though that the way things are right now, this would be a save situation, but Jim Johnson has worked in each of the first 2 games of this series. There goes McLeod. The pitch is skied to shallow left field. David Murphy, a long run in there to make the catch, and the throw behind not in time. Nice play by Mitch Moreland to keep that ball from getting out of play. But David Murphy, a long run charging in, made the catch.
And McLeod was running on the play. Elvis was coming in towards second base. Otherwise, that probably would have been a ball he could catch. Fortunately, David picked it up, was able to catch it coming in on the run. It's that time of night where the ball can blend in with the sky, and you have to be careful.
So 1 out. McLeod back at first base. Nick Markakis will step in. Markakis 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. And Burns will again drive McLeod back. Burns okays the sign. And again, working on McLeod to keep him close to the bag. McLeod 25 stolen bases in 29 attempts this year. Orioles as a team only have 56 stolen bases. And first pitch is popped up. Foul territory. Mitch Moreland coming over the wind, playing havoc with that one, and pushes it back on top of the Ranger dugout. Wind really whipping in now from right field. It has picked up significantly here.
It really has.
In the last 15 or 20 minutes. The flags out there on top of the scoreboard, and the signage starched straight out in from right field. And the full moon would tell you why it's been such a weird series here for the Rangers. Burns asked to make a toss over to first. He does. 0-1 to count to Markakis. Burns peering in, nods in agreement, comes set. Another toss to first. Well, you make him dive back there enough, McLeod's going to get enough dirt in those pants and he's going to be weighted down, so he won't be able to run. Now we're set once again. Little tapper right back to the mound. It's knocked down by Burns. No play as Markakis is safely aboard.
That ball must have had some spin on it the way it bounced away from Corey. It wasn't hard hit. And I think he was thinking about catching it and throwing it to second base, and hit his glove and just looked like it never came close to going in his glove. It just bounced by him. And then he had no play at first base.
Yep. No, that's going to be an error on Corey Burns, mishandling that tapper by Markakis. Well, first and second, still just one out. Adam Jones is the hitter. That error, the second of the evening, committed by the Rangers. Elvis Andrus had an error back in the second inning. Jones 0 for 4 tonight. That 5-game hitting streak on the line here in the 9th inning. Rip and a miss. And that good changeup from Burns.
Burns going for it right there. He's got a little smile on his face. He was looking for a fastball, trying to jerk one out of here. Or he crossed him up a little bit with that off-speed pitch.
Burns, the 25-year-old right-hander who picked up his first major league win earlier this month. Misses outside. And the count evens at 1-1. Adam Jones, a .295 hitter. He's up there with McLeod at second, Markakis at first. Burns trying to keep this at a 3-run game. In the air to center field. Gentry started in. Now has to retreat in a hurry. Back of the warning track, and he makes the catch. Both runners are able to get back, tag, and advance 90 feet. As Craig Gentry came running in. That may have been one of those times that blended in with the sky that Gentry thought he knew where it was and then didn't.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a pop-up to center field that he could come in for. The ball carried all the way to the warning track in center field. So I'm not sure if the wind caused that ball to carry like that. Whether Craig misjudged it a little bit, whether he didn't see it. But off the bat, that sure didn't look like a ball that was going to go almost 400 feet. In any event, Craig was able to recover and make the play. Now Corey needs to get an out to pitch out of this and keep it a 4-1 game.
Well, here's Chris Davis. The pitch way inside, and Davis has to jackknife out of the way. 1 ball and no strikes. Chris, a double in the second inning. That was that line drive that was just at the right angle that David Murphy lost it in the sun out there in left field. 1-0 pitch to him. And the changeup is low. It's 2-0. I don't really like this matchup with Corey Burns, a fastball changeup guy, against Chris Davis. Now when you got first base open, they're going to go ahead and put him on now. So once you get behind 2 balls and no strikes, that's the prudent thing to do and deal with Matt Wieters.
You can get him to chase it. Didn't look like he was going to, so why take a chance on making a mistake?
And Chris Davis with 37 home runs has already made a lot of people pay for mistakes early in the year. So the 4th wide one intentionally walks Chris Davis. Base is full now with 2 outs. And Matt Wieters, who is 2 for 3 with a walk, will step in. Wieters singled and doubled his first 2 times to the plate. Rounded out to short in the 5th. And then walked to lead off the 8th. Base is full and 2 outs. And he's throwing the bat out there at Ian Kinsler. He comes up a little short.
Pretty good distance, though.
A great line if he was trying to get Ian. Think he was fooled on the changeup?
I think he was fooled a little bit.
Wieters, bat in hand once again, back up there, count of no balls and 1 strike. And McLeod at third, Markakis at second, Chris Davis the runner at first, and Corey Burns working from the stretch. Fastball, and that's just a little bit high. 1 ball and 1 strike. 39,907 on hand here this evening. I think Joe West's opinion of high and ours is a little bit different. Pitch inside, 2-1. No place to put Wieters for Corey Burns. Orioles at every base as Burns comes set. The 2-1 pitch. Good changeup, 2-2. That thing must look like it has brakes on it.
Yeah.
For a good hitter.
Well, he has great motion with it that fools the hitter, the speed along with it. And then the ball usually drops right at the end, too, which even if you're on it, the movement is going to give you a hard time as well.
The 2-2 on the way. Popped up. Kinsler backpedaling into shallow right field, making the call and the catch. And that'll do it. So Corey Burns able to work around his own mistake. Leaves the bases full. Bottom of the 9th inning. Rangers trailing the Birds 4-1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Don't miss the Ford Summer Spectacular featuring blockbuster deals. Now playing at your best in Texas Ford dealer. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. The bottom of the 9th inning has arrived. Rangers trailing by a trio of runs, 4-1. The Orioles have the lead, and Chris Tillman back out there to see if he can finish what he started.
Wow.
113 pitches and 8 innings of work. I think Buck Showalter will probably go with him until he gets a base runner, and then he has a couple of options out in the pen if he wants to stay away from Jim Johnson.
Well, you know, he had a strong 8th inning. He had a couple of strikeouts in the 8th inning. His velocity was still there. He's thrown 113, 114 pitches several times this year. And Buck just going to push him a little bit. Had a long rest after the All-Star break. One of his best pitchers. He's won 11 games. 25 years old now. Strong kid. Why not?
1-1. You saw that former Ranger Darren O'Day, the side-wheeling right-hander, had joined Brian Mattis in the Oriole bullpen. 1-1, the count to Adrian. Out of play down the right side. That twisting back into the seats.
I guess most times, Buzz, going into the 9th inning or even the 8th inning, if a guy is finished an inning with 112 to 116 pitches, it's generally a night. You don't see the guy go back out there that often. Well, Buck is going to push Tillman a little bit tonight.
Beltran drive, dead center field. Going back is Jones. He stops. Goodbye. Adrian Beltran, a 1-2 pitch, lines his 22nd home run of the year to dead center, and it's a 4-2 Baltimore lead.
Well, that one got up to right center field and shot out of there. Adam Jones just looked at that thing. Well, maybe Buck's plan was to let Tillman face one right-hand hitter,
two left-hand hitters coming up. Whatever the plan was, Adrian Beltre with a great swing lines the home run to right center field, cuts the gap to 4-2. And for the second straight day, the Rangers putting a little pressure on the Orioles here in the ninth inning.
Adrian getting that high breaking ball, so thank you very much. And that ball back in the 7th row out there in right center field. Adrian Beltre with a team best tying 22 home runs. Pitching change underway. We'll be right back with a 4-2 lead now for Baltimore. Through Adrian Beltre's eyes. Chris Tillman throwing one just about there, and Adrian deposited that in dead center field. And exit Chris Tillman. On comes Brian Mattis with a 2-run lead now to work.
Brian Mattis, a couple of years ago, was a high #1 draft choice. I think they envisioned him as part of their starting rotation. He's pitching well out of the bullpen, however, as a setup left-hander. Good ERA. Good opponent's batting average, so he's been tough. Coming in to face Brzezinski and Moreland.
So a 4-2 Baltimore lead, and A.J. Brzezinski takes strike one from Mattis. A.J. tonight is grounded out twice and lined to short. Mattis working from the windup with the bases empty. A.J. fouls it off to the left. He finds himself now down in the count. 0-2. And Jurickson Profar grabbing that bat. Looks like he may be used as a pinch hitter, probably for Mitch Moreland, if Brzezinski were able to get aboard. Mitch, the other left-handed hitter in that order, and Profar the advantage of being a switch hitter, so even if Buck Showalter went to the right-hander O'Day, you'd have the advantage in the left-right matchup. Darren O'Day has gotten completely loose out there in the bullpen. Well, he's built got completely loose too. 0-2, the count to Brzezinski. And, Jeff Baker staying loose and ready as always in that Ranger bullpen, or dugout. He'd probably be in the bullpen too if he wanted to. The 0-2 got him swinging. Matt is pretty tough on the left-handers, and he gets Brzezinski for out #1.
A good fastball with good location. Actually looked like it was moving a little bit away from A.J.
So now Jurickson Profar asked to go up and face Brian Mattis in a key situation here in the 9th inning.
Left-hand hitters against Mattis
are only 11 for 76. They're hitting about 145 against him. So he has come in and pretty much dominated left-hand hitters this year out of the bullpen for the Orioles.
Profar hitting at 241. Had a couple of hits fall in for him last night. The first pitch from Mattis is high and outside for ball one. Profar 6 for his last 20. Up there trying to get a board. Rangers still need one more base runner to have the tying run come up. And he takes one inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. But Jurickson, who we commented on, getting some instruction from Adrian Beltre over there. Some encouragement. Profar with a very good eye, a very disciplined approach as a hitter most of the time. And ball 3 is low and inside. Profar trying to get aboard with 1 out. He'll be followed by the Rangers shortstop. That is Elvis Andrus. And the question now is, will Elvis be hitting as the tying run in this ball game? The 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk. Mattis not able to find the strike zone to Profar. Well, pinch hit walk. And now Elvis comes to home plate as the tying run. And Buck Showalter says that's enough. I have seen enough with Andrews coming up. Don't worry about Murphy and Martin if we get Elvis. So he wants Darren O'Day to come on. And O'Day will inherit Profar at first base with 1 out and a run across here in the 9th inning. Well, the Rangers trailing 4-2, but again making some 9th inning noise here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Bringing the tying run to home plate, and tomorrow right back here at the Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. AT&T Uverse TV will tell you Yu Darvish and Ivan Nova will be the principals tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. The first of 4, the Rangers and the New York Yankees. Here's Yu. He is all set to make that start, coming off the disabled list here tomorrow. Familiar face, familiar arm angle, and all that stuff. Darren O'Day on now to face Elvis Andrus.
Yeah, and when he's healthy and right, those are numbers that are pretty typical of Darren as well. A low ERA, on a strikeout per inning. Has given up 4 home runs though. Got a low opponent's batting average, but occasionally he can be prone to the home run, and Rangers will be looking for that. Maybe not with Elvis right here, but Got David Murphy coming up next.
Elvis steps in, having walked twice and singled. He has scored the run other than Adrian Beltre's home run in this inning. First ball swinging, ground ball to third. The second they get one, that's all they will get. Profar making sure that Ryan Roberts can't get a return to first away, so one pitch, and Elvis grounds into a fielder's choice. So two gone, it'll be up to David Murphy.
Well, Darren, when he keeps the ball down, he gets the ball to sink. And when it sinks, it's tough to hit it in the air, and that's exactly what happened to Elvis. He just beat that right into the ground. Too much of a hop to get a double play. They weren't worried about that. They wanted to get one, and they did.
David Murphy tonight, 1 for 3. Facing former teammate Darren O'Day with Elvis Andrus, the runner at first. And the sidearm breaking ball stays outside. It's 1-0. Murphy singled in the fifth. That was sandwiched in between a fielder's choice ground out and a line drive double play. And Murphy pops it up. Foul territory. That is going to be pushed back into the seats by the strong south wind. The count evens at 1-1. Rangers trying to come back in this game to snap a 3-game losing streak. O'Day with that high set. And Murphy fouls it back to the screen. Rangers now down to their final strike. It is 1-2 to Murphy.
Dad showing his son how Darren throws that sidearm pitch. Probably telling him why it's hard to hit, too. Both got the rally hats on.
Yep, that they do.
Looking for a rope right here from David.
Murphy waiting as Darren O'Day climbs back up on top the pitching mound. Right-hander is ready. The 1-2. Just missed outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Nice to see a pitch called a ball when it's out there in the Murphy zone. That was too far out to have that one called. Although it wouldn't have been the first time that was called on David.
That's true. O'Day coming back to the plate on 2-2. 3-2.
Tried to get him to offer it that high fastball.
And Murph has run the count as far as he can run her now. 3-2, trying to get aboard and extend this inning, extend this game for Leonis Martin. Elvis checking to make sure that he knew the count was full. O'Day is ready. Elvis on the move, payoff pitch. Lined out of play down the left side. A crowd of 39,907 on hand here tonight, and they are just aching for a comeback of gigantic proportions to go crazy about. Again, the 3-2 from O'Day. Got him swinging. And backdoor breaking ball, and David Murphy strikes out, and the Ranger hopes are crushed here this evening. They have lost 4 straight now as the Orioles sweep them right on out of post-All-Star break contention. O'Day gets the strikeout, and the Rangers go down to defeat 4-2 the final here tonight. They end up stranding one, and the Orioles win all 3 coming out after the All-Star break. Again, 4-2 the final. Dana Larson and Mark McLemore will be back to wrap things up for you from the Captain Morgan Club right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.